Hello, and welcome to Pages for All Ages. I'm Nitza Campos.
And I'm Leah Godwin.
And I'm going to begin today's show. The first book I'm going to do is The Collector by K.R. Alexander. This is a middle grade book that is appropriate for 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. As by looking at the cover, you can tell it's going to be a scary book. In this book, Josie and her little sister Annie have to move to their grandmother's house after their mother has lost her job. They used to love visiting their grandmother, but now her grandmother has some really strange rules, like no dolls allowed in the house, absolutely do not walk into the woods. And Josie's not feeling too good about this. So Josie goes to school, not very happy. She meets Vanessa on her very first day of school and thinks, okay, things aren't going to be so bad. But Vanessa's a little strange, and people are telling Josie to stay away from her. Vanessa invites Josie to go to her house, and to get there, she must walk through the woods. First rule has been broken. Vanessa's house is filled with porcelain dolls. Annie goes with Josie to Vanessa's house, and what does Vanessa give Josie's little sister to help Annie take away her nightmares? Yep, you guessed it, a doll. Another rule broken. And students start to disappear in this small town, and Josie begins to learn what happened in this town many years ago when her mother was a little girl. And things are happening again. As you can tell by the cover, porcelain dolls. Yes, everybody's scared of porcelain dolls. Who wants to go to sleep with a porcelain doll staring at them? Yep, they look great during the day, but at nighttime, not so much. So anyways, I think this is a good book to teach lessons about following rules.
And don't keep those dolls.
Don't break them. So anyways, this is a really good one. The ending is really quick, but it's good for students who want a good scary book. So, The Collector.
Good scary book. My first book is The Whispers by Greg Howard. It's a middle grade book. I would say 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. This book actually is scheduled for release on January the 15th, 2019. It is his debut novel. It is a great coming-of-age tale, and I saw comparisons in just the little bit I read to Bridge to Terabithia or Counting by Sevens. It kind of has that same feel. I only got to read the first 34 pages from a preview on the author's Twitter account, but I thought it was such a good book to talk about here today because it is so new, and I was so drawn to the cover. It's just gorgeous, and I can't wait to read the whole book. A little bit about the book is Riley, who's 11, learns of the whispers through a story told by his mother. And the whispers are fairy creatures that will grant you wishes if you pay tribute to them, leave them little gifts around, and so they will grant your wish. And Riley wishes for a lot of things, but mostly he wishes for his mother to come back. His mother has left Riley and his brother and dad. So sounds like a really great book. I can't wait to get my hands on it.
I loved Counting by Sevens.
I loved Bridge to Terabithia, so I think maybe it's a good kind of comparison, where you have on the bottom where Amazon and Destiny and all those say
recommended.
a similar read. So I think that'd be great.
Counting by Sevens is a fantastic one.
Uh-huh.
The next book I'm going to discuss is Dread Nation by Justina, Ireland. This is a YA book, so it's appropriate for high school. I was drawn to this book because it is a zombie book, and I am a huge Walking Dead fan. Do you watch Walking Dead?
I love Walking Dead, yes.
Coming back soon. Dread Nation is set during the Civil War, but it is not a historical fiction book because it's more like an alternate history. So I'll tell you why. The North and the South have stopped fighting, and they have decided to join together to fight against the dead. During this time, they have passed this Native and Negro Re-Education Act, which forces African American boys and girls into combat school where they learn how to fight the dead, which they also call shamblers. Jane, who is our heroine in this book, is biracial, and she is sent to Miss Preston's School of Combat. When her friends, his name is Red Jack, his sister comes up missing, and they uncover a sinister plot of the corrupt mayor and is sent to live in an outpost called Summerland. Jane is a strong and independent character. I just loved her. She's sassy, she's feisty. This book can be a little bit of a difficult read because you see how African Americans were seen and spoken to back then. But a great book. This is the first book in a duology. I am hoping, keeping my fingers crossed, that the sequel will be out in 2019. So if Justina, Ireland, if you're watching this, let us know, because I'm dying for it.
Be great. My next book is a spooky middle grade book. It is Skeleton Tree by Kim Ventrella. They have a group on Twitter that's spooky middle grade at spookymgbooks. And in this book, a bone starts growing in Stanley Stanwright's backyard. And it's just a finger bone at first, and then it's a hand, and then it's the whole tree. The tree is the whole skeleton that can move around at will, and the skeleton befriends Stanley's sweet little sister Mirren, who is often very sick and has to have oxygen. Why can't any of the other adults see the skeleton other than Miss Francine, who's their babysitter? We don't really know. Maybe Miss Francine has a second sense or something. This is a dark but sweet story about approaching the subject of terminal illness and loss. And the little girl in it, Mirren, is just a little pill. She can be a little brat, but she's so cute, and you just kind of fall in love with her and with Stanley.
And Stanley loves his little sister.
Stanley loves his little sister.
I haven't read the whole book yet, but I started it and I really liked it. I was drawn to the cover.
Yes.
The cover is...
And she does have another book coming out called Bone Hollow, which is about a little boy that fell, and he may or may not have died, but nobody can see or hear him anymore.
Now, do I need to finish reading my book with some tissues?
You might need to have some tissues, okay. Yes.
Just in case.
Yes.
You'll mascara alert.
It is a mascara alert.
Okay, just letting you know. All right, so my next book is Hello, Hello by Brendan Wenzel. It is a picture book. It is right here. You might know Brendan Wenzel. He is the Caldecott recipient for the book They All Saw a Cat. If you've never heard of this book, which most librarians have, but teachers may have not, They All Saw a Cat is perfect for teaching perspective. Because a cat, the cat is walking around and the fish sees him and sees him differently than a mouse will see him, and differently than how a dog would see the cat. So it is a perfect book for teaching perspective. But let's get back to Hello, Hello. In this book, Brendan introduces students to animals that are on the endangered list. He does this in a really fun and interesting way. He is grouping the animals together with similarities, whether it's their patterns, their colors, their shapes. It is a rhyming book with this pop-off-the-page color. He gives the animals this cartoonish feel with these googly eyes. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. So here's an example of Hello Stripes, Hello Spots, Hello Giant, Hello Not. And I just love their eyes. If any of Brendan Wenzel's other books you've ever seen, he just does a fantastic job with the illustrations. But I just love how he groups them together. They're funny shapes. At the end of the book, he does tell the students the actual real names of the animals that are in this book. But it's all these endangered animals. These are some of Brendan Wenzel's favorite animals. It's just beautiful, gorgeous. If you have Brendan Wenzel's book, this is another one you've got to add to your collection.
I love the cover.
Yeah, it's
beautiful.
Fantastic.
Beautiful colors. My next book is another spooky middle grade book. It is The Gravedigger's Son by Patrick Moody. Ian Foster is a young boy who comes from a long line of Fosters who are all grave diggers who have lived and worked in the same cemetery for 1,000 years. Oh. All of them are buried in a mausoleum crypt kind of thing, and he works with a girl who is also in training. Her name is Fiona, and she's a voice catcher. What a voice catcher does is they can catch the voices of the dead who need to be laid to rest again in another way. They're not finished with whatever they're supposed to be doing on the earth. They need to settle something. So what Fiona does is she catches their voice, and then Ian can go and dig up that person and let them complete whatever they need to do, and then he can lay them back to rest. Well, in the meantime, while they're learning how to do all of this stuff, Ian doesn't want to be a gravedigger. He wants to be a healer. And so he has a little garden that's off the trail that's way past the cemetery. And he is not supposed to go down the pumpkin trail, that they call it, because that's where weavers live. And the weavers are actually witches.
Oh, okay.
Bertram is the guy who is training him to be a gravedigger. Bertram has trained all of the Fosters. He is a little zombie man that...
Is he the little skeleton I see
No,
right there?
he's this
okay.
little guy here.
Okay.
This little skeleton causes troubles too, and he's all over the place. Bertram is there to help them kind of work through some things, but one time while the dad Foster is gone, Ian is left in charge, and chaos ensues. Wonderful book, talking about ancestry, talking about following your dreams, a little bit of scary stuff with witches, a little good and evil. So, fun read.
I want to know more about the little cute skeleton. The skeleton is wearing this little backpack and has this little, it's not a page boy hat, but it's like a little, it is adorable.
He's really cute.
He's a troublemaker?
Great book. Troublemaker. He makes it a lot of fun.
Okay. It happens sometimes. All right, my next book is called Pearl. It is written by Molly Idle. It is a picture book. It is perfect for preschool through 2nd grade. Molly Idle is another Caldecott recipient, and she received the Caldecott Award for Flora and the Flamingo. If you are not familiar with the Caldecott Award, it is an award that is given to the illustrator. So Molly Idle is the author and the illustrator of these books. And she is a fantastic illustrator. She also wrote Flora and the Penguin. She has T-Rex, T-E-A. Have you seen this one by Molly Idle? I just love it. So her latest one is Pearl. It is about mermaids, and the mermaids are charged with taking care of many things in the oceans, whether it's the waves or the great coral reefs, the forests of kelp. And Pearl is a little teeny tiny mermaid, and she can't wait to be charged with something to look after. Pearl's mom gives her a single grain of sand to be in charge of, and Pearl is greatly disappointed by this because Pearl's mom takes her to the top of the ocean and takes her to the beach, and Pearl sees this vast amount of sand, and her mom has now charged her with just this one grain of sand. And so she clenches it in her fist, and after a while, because she's so angry, she's clenching it, Pearl starts to notice that it's growing. And now it has this pretty beautiful sheen, and it's lustrous. So she keeps clenching it, and it grows and grows and grows. And the small pearl actually becomes the moon and shines down on everything. Oh. It is, if you have never seen Molly Idle's illustrations, they are magical. They have this beautiful, soft color and her smooth curves. It is just, I'm just going to show you. These are probably some of the prettiest mermaids I have ever seen.
And that's such a pretty story.
There she is on the beach with her mother, and I love how the mom's hair, it looks like a seashell. It is just, I'm trying to find some, look at that, like her face and these greens and blues and pinks and just the curves of their tail. I can't get enough of Molly Idle. This book, Pearl, is a great book for discussing disappointment and how small things doesn't mean that it's insignificant. They can be, small things can be important too, and so not to be disappointed. It's a good lesson to learn. Fantastic book.
And it seems like I have another kind of sad book. This is Echo's Sister by Paul Mosier. It is a middle grade book. It is about a girl named Laughter. She is going into the 7th grade at a new school, but she doesn't want anyone to call her Laughter. She would like to be called Elle. She's full of anxiety about the move that she had to make to the new school, and Echo, her sister, is 6. And she's had a problem with her teeth poking out, and her teeth keep poking out and poking out, so that her parents take her to the doctor and find out that she has a tumor in her mouth causing her teeth to poke out. She does have cancer. There's a lot of chemo. There's a lot of anxiety for Elle and her parents. The ending is cautiously optimistic. It's, you know, the characters are very likable and relatable. If you have any students that are dealing with terminal illness or something like that, this might be a great book to, you know, kind of lead them toward, that maybe help them deal with a little bit. Sometimes if you find a friend in a book,
Yes.
then you feel a little bit better.
It might also be a good book to show kids empathy. Kind of
Yes.
like when Wonder came out, that was a fantastic book where
Yes.
students were rooting for Augie and
Yes.
kids were having this empathy. That might be another.
And people would be
great.
rooting for Laughter and Echo because they both are having, you know, things they have to kind of get through.
I like that name, Laughter.
Laughter and
What a
Echo.
fun-
Isn't that
what a fun
fun
name.
names for little girls?
My next book is a random find, and what a fantastic random find it is. It is a treasure. I love this. This book is called Juno, Valentine, and the Magical Shoes. It is a picture book. Now, I'm going to be honest. I picked it up because it had to deal with shoes, because I love shoes. I have a shoe problem. So in this book, Juno is looking for her favorite shoes, and they're not fancy, they don't light up, they don't sparkle, but they are the perfect shoes for running and hopping and skipping and puddle jumping. So she's going through her closet, and she gets to the back of the closet, and then she's transported to every woman's dream. It is this largest shoe collection, closet-like thing. It's just amazing. But these are not ordinary shoes. These are shoes that have belonged to some very extraordinary women. And she tries on these shoes, and she tries on shoes that belong to Cleopatra and Frida, Marie Curie, Jane Goodall, Serena Williams, Sally Ride, and many other important women in our history. When she does return to her room, she knows that her perfect shoes just won't do after all. And because she has been to the moon and back. So she decides to add a little bit of magic to her favorite shoes, a little magic from each woman. And at the end of the book, you're going to see, well, first of all, hold on. Let me show you the magical closet just full of fantastic shoes. And the end of the book has facts on each of the groundbreaking women of whose shoes Juno had the pleasure of wearing. So just short little facts, but this was quite a treasure. I was expecting this book about shoes and stilettos and wedges, and then I found this fantastic fantastic book about wonderful women in our history, and another great find.
I love the illustrations.
They
All
are
the
cute.
shoes.
Yeah,
Cute
well,
little
yeah,
girl.
I
Cute
love a
little
book about
girl.
shoes.
My next book is Heartseeker by Melinda Beaty. This is a middle grade book. I fell in love with the title, and then I fell in love with the cover, and then I fell in love with the main character. Her name is Only Fallow, and she is from the orchard in this fantasy book, and she's a young girl who can see lies. So if someone lies, she can see around them the colors change, or she can see a putrid green, or she can see darkness. And she is someone from the orchard, so they are rich landowners. Her family makes scrump for the king from the apples in their orchard. And what scrump is something that's delivered in barrels, and I suspect might be a tiny bit like cider, maybe hard cider. And the Ordish people, or the river people who work for the Fallows, they come and work in the orchard. And Only makes friends with two of the Ordish children. And she sees two of them being abducted by one of the kingsmen, because the kingsmen come to abduct children to be servants in the castle. And when Only's lie detecting abilities are discovered, she's taken to work for the king so that she can tell him when some of his subjects and the people on his council are lying. This is a wonderful tale that's woven with intrigue and fantasy and adventure, and Only is a wonderful, strong little character. And she really makes her way even though she's not sure about what's going on. But I can't wait for the second book in this duology. Riverbound is the next book, and it will be coming out in June of 2019. And when I thought about 2019, I thought, man, that's a long time, but we're in 2019. So, you know, it won't be that long. I was captured by this book. It's one of those books when you finish, you're going, it's over. So I was captured by this book. It didn't let me go until the last page. I can't wait to crawl into the next one, Riverbound, and see where it takes me.
Well, sometimes after a book is done, I mourn a little bit.
I do too. I get
like,
disappointed.
You don't get to see those characters anymore. And I know you said you love the cover, and I want to talk about the cover just really quickly because I know we're not supposed to judge a book by its cover.
But boy, you do.
A book cover can stop you in your tracks, and I have discovered
Definitely.
some wonderful, fantastic books just based on the cover.
And the people that are marketing those books, they know that about us. They do.
They do.
My last book is a YA book. It is Marked Beauty by S.A. Larsen. The main character in this is another strong female character. Her name is Anastasia Tate. She goes by Anna in the book. She can feel the emotions of others through their life energy auras. So she's kind of like an empath. This is a terrible thing to have if you're a teenager and if you're a teenage girl, because talk about mood swings, talk about everybody being different at any moment. A terrible, sinister presence starts to stalk her, and she can see darkness when that happens. In fact, when she's reading auras, she can see different colors behind people. This terrible, dark, sinister stalker injures her friend in a car wreck, and she's in the car wreck as well, but Victor Castle saves her. And Victor Castle also has some of this going on. He's supposed to protect humanity, but he's also cursed by an ancient evil that's trying to destroy humanity because he gets mixed up with a lady named Cassandra who really kind of makes it a problem. So Victor saves Anna, and her abilities grow stronger, and they're drawn together. And his saving her has put her in danger, and he's also in danger. So they're in danger for their lives and in danger for their souls. So this book was a great big wow for me. I don't think I've enjoyed a YA novel this much in a long time. So Marked Beauty by S.A. Larsen, and it did win the New England Book Festival Award in 2017.
Is this a series or just a standalone book?
I don't know. It could go either way. I'm hoping that it is a series, so we'll see what she comes up with.
And you have some fun books about abilities. Like, I don't know if I want to be able to know someone's lying to me. I don't know if I can.
And I don't know if I want to be able to read someone's aura and how they feel. So, but kind of fun to read about.
Oh, got some good YA books this time.
I didn't have one picture book this time, which is not like me, but
okay.
I had fun with these. I had time to read.
You
had some great ones.
Picture books. I love picture books. They're my absolute favorite. We want to thank you for joining us today on this episode of Pages for All Ages, and we'll see you next time.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye.